Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It's really nice to see you all, and I'll be, with your blessings, giving class today. So I appreciate you all must have had busy days, whether it's at work, at home, here in the temple. But I just invite everyone to come into this space and just with an open heart, open mind, let it go of all the activities of the day, and sing with me the beautiful Jaya Radha Madhav prayers. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. So I'll say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times, and feel free to join me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll be reciting verse 19 from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. And yes, the words are on the screen. So what I'll do is maybe I'll recite first, and then you can repeat after me. Ya enam veti hantaram, yaschena manyate hatam, uboto na vichanito, nayam hanti nahanyate. Would anyone else like to recite? Ya enam veti hantaram, yaschena manyate hatam, uboto na vichanito, nayam hanti nahanyate. Thank you. Anyone else? Ya enam veti hantaram, yaschena manyate hatam, uboto na vichanito, nayam hanti nahanyate. Ya enam veti hantaram, yaschena manyate hatam, uboto na vichanito, nayam hanti nahanyate. Translation. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. I'll go through word for word. Ya, anyone who. Enam, this. Veti, knows. Hantaram, killer. Ya, anyone who. Cha, also. Enam, this. Manyate, thinks. Hatam, killed. Ubo, both. To, they. Na, never. Vijanita, are in knowledge. Na, never. Ayam, this. Hanti, kills. Na, nor. Hanyate, is killed. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When an embodied living entity is hurt by fatal weapons, it is said to be known that the living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as will be evident from subsequent verses. Nor is the living entity killable because of his spiritual constitution. What is killed, or is supposed to be killed, is the body only. This, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. The Vedic injunction is ma himsyat sarva bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. Nor does understanding that the living entity is not killed encourage animal slaughter. Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of the state as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjuna is being engaged in killing for the principle of religion and not whimsically. Prabhupada ki jai. So I'll just say the Mangalacharan prayers before we discuss this verse. These are very special prayers to honor and pay our respects to the teachers, the Vaishnavas, elevated personalities, and their lordships. So if you know the prayer, then please recite with me. If not, that's okay. I invite you to maybe close your eyes, fold your hands in the prayer position, and just allow the transcendental words to enter through your ears and into the heart space. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Ucha Patakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tatta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatade Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Payevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Okay, before we start, may I just ask if there's anyone here who is not familiar with the Bhagavad Gita, not had a chance to read the Gita? Maybe just with a show of hands? Okay, thank you. So then, let me just share. Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between two friends, Krishna and Arjuna. It takes place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a real place in India. And just to share a little bit more context, Arjuna is in a real predicament. He's in the middle of the battlefield, and the battlefield also represents the battlefield in our hearts. In life, we'll always have challenges, we'll have difficulties. Arjuna is asking Krishna for our benefit many questions, and Krishna is answering these questions to help Arjuna and clear his vision. So the Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful book of wisdom, and there were many attempts to actually prevent the war happening between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. But in the end, Krishna asks Arjuna, who is a warrior? And Krishna asks Arjuna to fight and fight for justice. So Arjuna is very concerned. He can see family in front of him, he can see friends, and he's thinking, how can I fight this war? I'll gain a kingdom, but how can I enjoy this kingdom? So he's feeling very confused, very weak in mind and body. But Krishna goes on to explain that fighting the war is the right thing to do. Arjuna would be performing his duty, and he'll be leaving society in a much better state. And that in any case, Krishna will deliver everyone on the battlefield. So before we start verse 19, I thought we could just quickly recap on verse 18 and what this says. So the translation of verse 18, the material body is indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Sorry, let me say that again. My apologies. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport of this verse how the material body is perishable. It's only a matter of time. We see in our own lives. We were once a baby, we grew up as a child, then an adult, and then in future, this body will be no more. And I was just reflecting that I qualified as a scientist, and I chose to work in healthcare because I was so wanting to serve people and to make sick people better, to improve the quality of their lives. And yes, there are medicines, there are treatments which can alleviate symptoms. They can prolong life for some. But there is no chance of maintaining this body indefinitely. This is such an important point. And whilst it's a heavy topic, that this body is perishable, awareness of this and a realization of the eternal truths in the Bhagavad Gita can really open up our vision, help us see life through a different lens, and based on the ancient Vedic scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, we can gain so much more purpose in our lives in a practical way, and we can truly realize what it means to become happier. So let's look at verse 2.19. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it is slain, is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. It's such a beautiful verse, but it's like a riddle. Ya enam veti hantaram. Those who think that the living entity or soul is killing, or yaschena manyate hatam, those who think the living entity or soul is killed. Ubo, these two types of people, both of them, uboto na vijanito, are not in knowledge. They don't understand the real meaning of what Krishna is saying here. So why is Krishna saying, Nayam hanti nahanyate? It's because the soul is in each one of us here. And the soul is not the killer, nor the one who is killed. So ultimately, if Krishna desires to kill someone, then nobody can protect them. And if Krishna wants to save someone, then nobody can kill that person. Krishna is all-powerful. He's the supreme creator. He's the controller. And we are part and parcel of the Lord. Spirit is always higher than matter. And the living entity cannot be killed because of its spiritual constitution. The soul is eternal, knowledgeable, and blissful always, Satchit Ananda. So I want to discuss a little bit more about what it means to be in knowledge, because this verse is saying if you think the living entity is, or the spirit soul, is killed or the killer, then you're not in knowledge. Knowledge is so important. We know from the Gita that our material senses, like our sight, our hearing, our touch, these are all controlled by the mind. And above the mind, what is higher is the intelligence. It's knowledge that actually feeds the intelligence, gives us the discerning power, enables us to make wise choices and decisions in life. This verse really touches upon when we are not in knowledge. But actually, what does it mean to be in knowledge? So I thought I'd just start in a very practical way. I'd like this class to be engaging, and I'd like to ask you all a question. How have you gained knowledge in your life, whether it's through study or from hearing from someone, and how has it practically helped you? So maybe I can give an example. I learned some recipes, I learned how to cook some Indian food, so now I can make some preparations, I can offer to their lordships, and then I can serve friends and family who come over. So that's some knowledge in how I've used this. Would anyone like to share some knowledge they've gained and how it's helped them? Please don't be shy. Anyone? Anything you've studied? Anything that you feel how knowledge has helped you, information has helped you? Yes, please. So you learn how to drive a car so you can get to place to place. Thank you so much for sharing. And that applies to so many of us. Yes, knowledge is very powerful. And you wouldn't be able to get from one place to another place unless you learnt about the codes, the law of driving, and also took a test and then practiced. So absolutely. Let's turn to spiritual knowledge and the value that spiritual knowledge actually brings to us in our lives. Would anyone like to share how maybe the Gita or something else they've read in Srila Prabhupada's books that's really helped them? Anything? Yes, please. Yeah. That's so beautiful. So Mataji was sharing, and I'll just say out loud in case anyone didn't hear. She learned to tolerate happiness and distress and how to be more equipoise and know that distress is temporary and happiness is also temporary as well. So the Bhagavad Gita teaches us so much. And actually, I'm sitting here in front of you all as a student of the Bhagavad Gita. And so I forgot to do this in the beginning, but I humbly request all your blessings that I may actually share something relevant and relatable to everyone here. Anyone else want to share anything from the Bhagavad Gita? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Mataji was sharing how when we have loss in our life, because we will all face a situation one day when someone close to us or not close to us leaves this planet. But the soul is eternal. And when we grieve for that soul, then actually it does bring a level of distress to that soul, and it's difficult for that soul to move on into their next life. So what we can do, as Mataji was suggesting, is pray for the soul and its onward journey. And the prayers really carry far. So the Bhagavad Gita teaches us so much. It has solutions to every problem in our life. It goes beyond any self-help, self-development book or course. So thank you so much for sharing. The knowledge that we're actually learning in verse 19, maybe I could share what I take away from this, although I'm sure it'll be limited. We learn that the living entity within the body is not the killer, and neither can the living entity be killed. The spirit soul, or the living entity, resides in this material body, made up of 5 key elements: earth, air, ether, water, fire. And this body goes through many stages. It's born, it withers, ultimately it dies. And we learn from Krishna that this material body is perishable and that the material body can be killed, but never the spirit soul. And one who is conscious of this is considered knowledgeable. So Srila Prabhupada goes on to say in the purport that the spirit soul is so small that it's impossible to kill him by any material weapon. Can I just ask, does anyone know what is the size of the soul and where does it reside in the body? Anyone want to take a guess? Okay, in the mind. And what about the size? Have you heard anything about the size itself? Yes. Absolutely. It is so tiny, we cannot even see it. The Bhagavad Gita says, describes the soul. Shri Shivada Gokulananda ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshmi Hanuman ki jai, Gauranitai ki jai. The soul is 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair. So if you actually just look at the tip of your hair, if you were to cut that into 100 pieces, and then take one of those pieces and cut it up again into another 100 pieces, that's the size of the soul. So very small and impossible to kill. Humans have developed so many different tools, haven't we? There's a measuring tape to measure the size of different things. There's weighing scales to measure the weight. Doctors have a heart monitor to measure the heart rate. A microbiologist will have very specialized equipment to look down a microscope and see bacteria. But there is no equipment that's been created to detect the soul, let alone see it or measure it. So when I started preparing for this class, I asked actually a very scholarly devotee here in the ashram to share some ideas and thoughts that I could bring into this class as content. I was expecting some pastimes, a lot of suggestions, but he simply said, the soul is waterproof, fireproof, windproof, bulletproof, and also timeproof. So simple and yet so profound. The soul can't be harmed. The soul in each one of you cannot be harmed. This alone just gave me so much comfort and a sense of protection, a sense of peace, a deeper faith that God is looking out for me. Actually, the Gita also teaches us to look out for each other and be compassionate to every living entity. But in reality, life sometimes shows us otherwise. And we can see clearly how greed, how envy, how wars around the world are bringing misery to so many people. Srila Prabhupada is very, very careful to explain in this purport to this verse the understanding that this verse does not encourage killing of anybody. Just because the living entity or soul cannot be killed, that doesn't mean we can kill indiscriminately. But some people could interpret this verse in the wrong way. For example, a butcher or a murderer could justify killing because the soul is, eternal and they won't be punished. But no, they can't justify like that. And neither can we justify slaughter of animals either. But yes, we do see slaughter of animals happening all around the world. I'll just share one statistic. The UK government publishes facts about the livestock that are killed every month in the UK alone. And in the month of June, so this month, the month that we just passed, June 2025, 960,000 sheep were killed, 162,000 cows. It's very sad. And many religions we know advocate non-violence. Jainism, Buddhism, even Jesus Christ said, "Thou shalt not kill." Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 16, actually further explains that slaughtering of poor animals or eating animals for the taste of our tongue is due to being in the mode of ignorance. People don't care. They don't understand the impact of the laws of karma and the karmic reactions they will receive. They don't understand the sin incurred by actually killing animals and eating animals. So really, animal killers, they don't know. But it's written in Shastra that in the future, the animal will itself have a body to come back and kill them. It's really quite shocking. I'm sorry to share this so profoundly, but it's mentioned in the purport. And this is why the Vedic wisdom is so important. It guides us how to live a life without incurring bad karma, and it also helps us make intelligent choices in life. When preparing for this verse, I also remembered a verse and a picture in the Bhagavad Gita that I really love and impacted me so much. When I first held the Gita, when I was a teenager, I opened the book, I tried to read, I just couldn't, it was over my head. So I started reading smaller books of Srila Prabhupada, and I'd look at the pictures in the middle of the Gita and read the verses. So the verse that really stood out for me was in chapter 5, verse 18. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Cheva Svapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Translation: the humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. This picture showed the soul in each of these beings, and the brahmana was looking, or the humble sage was looking at all these souls with equal vision. This verse alone and that picture helped me give up meat and fish and chicken and eggs. And when I reflect back, I didn't really need all those items to nourish me. There was abundance of food in the form of vegetables, grains, fruits. We had milk. And actually, they all lead to a much healthier life. These days, animals are pumped with hormones to help them grow quicker and enter the food chain industry. Animals are given so many antibiotics because they're reared in very unclean environments. Fish are in waters that are so polluted with chemicals. So you can appreciate that by eating these animals, it's not helping us physically, but also mentally in our consciousness. So the Gita really shows us the way. It fully explains how to live a sattvic life. It actually explains foods in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, and these can really impact your life. When I gave up onion garlic, I took my mum for a holiday, and I asked the hotel, please, just make food vegetarian. I didn't want to push it by saying no onion garlic at that time. And the food had so much garlic. And when I had that food, for the first time in my life, I had the worst nightmares. I didn't sleep properly, and my consciousness was really affected. Even pilots are actually told not to have garlic before flying because it affects consciousness. So like that, the Gita is full of wisdom. And if we actually cook a sattvic food in a conscious way and offer to the Lord and then honor, not only does this nourish us internally and physically, but also spiritually. So coming back to the Kurukshetra war, and just to highlight something else Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, at the end of the purport, killing the body without authorization then becomes punishable by the state of law or by the law of God. So, for example, a soldier killing another soldier in a war, that's authorized by the government. He's doing his duty, that's what he signed up for, and it's under the sanction of the military army. If, however, that same person went into a shopping center and shot someone, no, that's punishable by law. In the case of the Kurukshetra war, it was authorized by Krishna. And so the act of violence is for supreme justice and not at all violence. Arjuna is being engaged in war as a matter of principle, of religion, and Krishna is giving the order for a higher purpose and to remove irreligion and to bring about peace. We know from the Gita that Krishna is so kind. He will appear on this planet to deliver those who are pious, to annihilate those who are miscreants or who have very demonic natures, and re-establish the principles of religion. So we spoke about verse 19 in chapter 2. And interestingly, the title of chapter 2 is called Contents of the Gita Summarized. So chapter 2 is another very profound chapter in the Gita. It covers many, many valuable topics for us. Arjuna approaches Krishna as his guru. He asks questions about his dilemma, his predicament. What is his true identity? What is his duty? What is the purpose of life? Arjuna asks all these questions. And actually, how can real happiness be found? Bhagavad Gita is God's own words and has solutions to every problem. So we're very fortunate to be able to have this wisdom. At the Bhaktivedanta Manor, we have the School of Bhakti, which organizes many courses, whether it's on yoga meditation, whether it's on arts, learning instruments, many courses for children, and also philosophy to help us really take this wisdom into our daily lives. So I actually did a course over the weekend by the School of Bhakti, and it was with Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, a real scholar, and he presents the wisdom in a very relevant, relatable way. So he was talking about the study of scripture. How should we study scripture, with what mindset as well? And we may not always have so much time in our lives to dedicate time to reading, but if we can take baby steps, even if it's 10 minutes a day, where we open up the Gita or another scripture and read one verse, one purport, that will start changing your life. and it will affect all the people around you as well in a very positive way. We just need to open the Shastra. We just need to spend 10 minutes with an open heart, an open mind, and more and more will be revealed to us. We'll see the words of Krishna really playing out in our lives, and we'll see the purports of Srila Prabhupada guiding us in every step of the way, showing us how to live a much happier, fulfilling life. So the Bhagavad Gita, as many of you know already, it's a beautiful, amazing scripture. Clearly explains so much about the living entity, the material worlds, karma, our activities, the passage of time, and ultimately the spiritual world, which is our eternal destination, where we should be heading. So we just need to make a little space in our lives for the wisdom and allow this knowledge to help us become more self-realized. So I just wanted to, I think I'm just conscious of time. The manor also has many opportunities to connect with the wisdom, whether it's through courses, as I mentioned, or through sanghas, through association. And when you see the saints in our midst, when you see the monks, feel free to pause, stop them and ask them a question, anything that comes to your mind to help you deal with life. We also have meetups or sanghas on a regular basis. So if anyone's interested, feel free to stop me anytime and I'll be happy to share some more information, or stop any of the devotees staying here in the ashram as well, and we'll be happy to serve you. So I'll just end with something that I heard His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Geshe Maharaj mention in a class, and which is really connected to this verse that we're reading right now. In time, everything disappears. Our body, our health, our abilities, our beauty, our relationships. In life, everything disappears. But the wisdom in the Gita gives us the knowledge to understand what remains. And the one thing that remains when all else disappears is who we really are, and that's the spirit soul. So I just want to thank you all for being here, for listening patiently. I welcome corrections, comments. If you ask a question, I'll do my best to help, but I know there's amazing devotees sitting here in front of me who can also happily and with a lot more knowledge answer your questions. So thank you so much for listening. Does anyone want to share any comments, any reflections on what we spoke about today? Please.
I was just thinking how it's strange how people, they give so much love to their dog, but then to another animal they kill. It's like people, they can relate to their dog, like they see their dog loves them and they love their dog, but then it's another animal they have apparently no feelings for, so it's kind of contradictory.
Thank you. So Mataji's saying how some people have so much love for their dog, look after their dog so well, and yet they are involved in killing of some sorts. For example, is it like eating meat, Mataji? Is that what you were alluding to? Okay. Would you like to share any more on that, or? Yeah, it is, when we look at it, it's very heartless. If we were to stand outside a mortuary and actually see an animal being killed, it would be very difficult to stand there. So yes, it's very nice to see people being compassionate to their dog or their cat. Srila Prabhupada wrote all these books to enable us to learn ourselves, and why devotees go out to distribute books is to share the wisdom, is to bring about a change in consciousness, is to bring about an awareness that the soul is in every living entity, and that killing is an act in the mode of ignorance. And it does have repercussions. Ultimately, there will be a sinful reaction that we will incur if we are involved in that sort of act. Yes, of course, we go outside, we may accidentally step on an ant or, inadvertently be involved in the killing of a living entity. But at the same time, if we are Krishna conscious and we are careful and our intentions are not to kill, then Krishna sees this. But if we consciously, with full awareness, actually, eat flesh of an animal, knowing that, yes, okay, I didn't kill this, but someone else did, and we try to remain detached from that act, that's not going to serve us very well in our spiritual life. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Please, Prabhu. Yeah, no, thank you so much, Prabhu, for your realization there. Prabhu was saying, apologies, I may not picked up everything, but we should ask questions, and Srila Prabhupada always encouraged that. Be inquisitive. Ask questions. Bhagavad Gita is very scientific. It gives us many practical ways to gain an understanding, gain knowledge, and it's through hearing, through chanting, through serving devotionally, many, many ways. And that all helps us come closer to Krishna. And Krishna will, when we take one step forward, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. If we want to forget Krishna and live a life in a certain way, Krishna gives us that free will. He will enable that. If you want to live in the mode of ignorance, then absolutely Krishna will allow that. But when you turn to Krishna, when you start living in the mode of goodness, and when you start practicing devotional service, then more and more is revealed to you for sure. And Krishna will guide you to do the right thing. Paramatma in your heart will actually speak to you, and you will know, you will have a different taste, maybe a higher taste, and you will know when certain things don't feel quite right. Yeah. Any other questions or realizations? Yes, please. Oh, bless. This, what's your name? Avian? Sorry, I didn't hear you properly, Avian. Thank you so much for sharing. Avian, how old are you? 5? Wow, beautiful. 5 years old, and saying we should not kill and we should not enter into animal life. And as Prabhu was saying, animals are eating, mating, defending. They have a different consciousness. And we have been fortunate enough to be given this human life, we've been given intelligence, we've been given a consciousness and an ability to question. And many people, we turn to Krishna because we've got problems, or we want something in return, like financial benefit. Sometimes we turn to Krishna because we have questions and we have that inquisitiveness. So that inquisitiveness always helps us to actually lead the right path. And then hopefully we always stay in a human body and can serve. Thank you. Any other reflections, realizations? Okay, in that case, oh, please, okay. Is there, Hare Krishna? Did you want to? Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, in that case, thank you so much for sharing, for being so open, and thank you for your blessings as well. Panchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu payevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Nantakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much.
Any manna? Avigalo. Na arti urti deta hu.
Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Gokula Nanda Radha